Hey guys, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. So it's update 2.3 has just been announced as such. A lot more information than I thought we would get. Really excited about this one actually. Most updates have been kind of meh recently, but for me, new champions and good new champions are always really cool. Not so great on the content front. We're not getting the Void Tower yet, but I didn't expect it in this one. But I believe, guys, that it will be out in the November patch, so not long to wait until we get some serious new content. Just before I go ahead with this, I'd just like to plug a little bit of my channel here. I'd really help if some of you guys would subscribe and hit that bell button. As I can see from my stats, a lot of people watch the videos, but they don't hit the subscribe button. It's not much, it just literally clicking a button, doesn't cost any money, and if you enjoy the content, please hit subscribe, because it's a massive help to me. And it means I could probably put more effort into my future videos because I can do it a bit more full time. Ideally, I'd love to do that. So yeah, that'd be fantastic, guys. Plug over. Now, let's go on with the content. So the first new champion is a Legius, or something like that. I can't really pronounce it. He is the fusion champion. When I say fusion, it's a fragment summon here. So actually, I've found the fragment summons a little bit easier to do than the fusion, so I guess in that respect they're actually quite good. It's just kind of naff that they try and sell you the fragments afterwards, which is a bit. They should really just give you the chance to summon, get some of these fragments later on down the line from random events if you missed it. But there was a couple of people who put videos out that Plarium were actually trying to get you to pay to get those last sort of 10 fragments you need, which in my eyes is very low, because it defeats the purpose of fragment collecting. It's a collection for a reason. But anyways, rant over. This guy is a magic support champion from Undead Hordes. Most of these guys are undead because it's a Halloween sort of thing. Halloween's a great time of year for games nowadays. I mean, every good game really lends itself well to Halloween tournaments because most of them play well in the horror theme, so it's really cool and people love that kind of stuff. So the A1 attacks one enemy with a 25% chance of placing a block cooldown skills debuff for one turn. Now that will not increase. I have not seen the amount of books you need and stuff like that yet, but I'm assuming that won't increase, because if you read the next bit, the chance to increase this by 0.75 for every 1 HP of this champion loses. So if he was to lose 100% of his HP, which I'll get to in a minute when you read the passive, that would give him 75% chance, basically taking this up to 100% chance for the A1, which is really cool. So I'm not going to go, I'll go over the passive in a minute, but even something like the 4-piece set from the Platinum Arena that basically makes you, keeps you surviving on low HP. This is going to be fantastic for this, and an A1 that can constantly hit block cooldown skills is pretty powerful, even if it's only for one turn, but you're constantly locking out whoever you want. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the idea they're going with this guy. It's obviously the more close he gets to death, the stronger he is, which is kind of the zombie theme, I guess. His A2 attacks one enemy and it puts a target skills on cooldown. Definitely no percentage chance. If the enemy team has any duplicates of the target champion, will also put their skills on cooldown. So it's a 4-turn cooldown just now, probably go down to 3. This is strange. It's not really useful for arena because you don't really play duplicates anymore, not that you ever really did. It's really useful for faction wars, because there's a bunch of times you come up against like 2-3 Valkyries, and that's just made for champions like that. Probably Doom Tower. I think this is probably going to be quite good for Doom Tower. I keep saying that with most stuff, but yeah, I think it's worth collecting every champion you can get just now, just to see how Doom Tower plays out, because I think it's going to be pretty intense and have good rewards, Then it's A3 attacks all enemies, 75% chance of removing 2 random buffs. That's great. And a 75% chance, both of these will be 100, I'm sure, when booked. Decreasing turn meter by 20%, and then enemy turn meter by a further 0.2 for every 1.1% of HP this champion loses. Okay, so that could potentially be nearly half turn meter if he's low health. So, well, 40%, that's a lot. That's a good ability, and especially the fact that it is an AoE damage. I'm assuming this guy's probably HP based, looking at kind of this guy's stats, the way this kind of guy kind of makes sense beforehand, but we'll go through it anyway. So that's a 5-turn cooldown, that will go down to a 4. The last passive, so this is kind of where it gets interesting with this guy, I think. It prevents this champion's death and keeps him alive on 1 HP when hit by a fatal hit. So that's what I was meaning with the first one, which potentially will take him up to 100% chance to hit block cooldown skills, and you're going to be knocking these, you know, stripping buffs and knocking guys back for like 40% turn meter. So that's pretty cool. If this skill prevents the champion's death, heals them by 10% of their max HP, and fills their turn meter by 20%, sorry that's just my phone going, and places shield buff on them equal to 30% of their max HP for 2 turns. Will not prevent this champion's death if they are under a block heal debuff. So that's something to note if you're playing him in arena, but this guy could be a really cool arena sort of go second guy sort of team, you know, because folk are going to just smash him, he's going to survive, then heal himself back up, put a shield on, then do his A3, which is going to take a ton of turn meter off the next. Yeah, he could be pretty interesting, this guy actually. I would recommend going for him if you can, because I've got a good feeling about this guy. Quickly go on to Little Miss Annie. I'm not sure about this one. I've read through these guys already, just briefly. This one is pretty confusing, I'm not going to lie. It looks pretty mental. It's a void legendary, so you would expect them to be nuts, but an A3 hitting A1, sorry, 50% chance of a 100% heal reduction, which is good for finite. Not too bad. Attacks one enemy 2 times on the A2, places a 50% increased attack buff on this champion if the target is under a shield buff, will ignore 25% of the target's defense if the target is under a shield buff. Places a perfect veil on this champion for 2 turns if it kills an enemy, and fills this champion's turn meter by 30% if this attack does not kill the target. So there's a lot of situational stuff. His whole kit, or her whole kit, is very, very situational. I'm not totally keen on it, I have to admit, but I guess you'll just have to see this one play out. The A2 attacks one enemy, ignores 25% of the target's defense if the target has higher defense than this champion, which it's an attack champion, so that's not too bad. Probably will have that. Decreases max HP by 25% if there's more HP. Never massively keen on the decreased target's max HP. It never comes into play as much as you think it should. Repeat a second time if the target has both defense and max HP. Okay. I mean, that's going to be in a maybe 5 or 4 turn cooldown, but you can repeat the attack a second time if the target has both higher defense and HP than her, so that could make for some pretty crazy plays. But I think realistically, when you look at this, she's going to have to do so much damage to make her useful, because someone like a Kratraxa just straight up kills something on their A2, then gives an extra turn, and the A1 just kills something again. Super easy. Rotos, you know, like pre-nerf especially, but even still after nerf, could just boom, hit the A3, kill something, get an extra turn, go and do something else. This is really situational. She does have a pretty cool passives though. She's got when revived, attacks the enemy that killed this champion with the default skill. Also fills this champion's turn meter by 25%, places a shield buff on them. Yeah, so that's really cool. So will work really well with all your kind of revive champions, which there are a ton of good ones right now. Sifis and loads of stuff. Duchess. The last one, each hit has a 50% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 5% and a 50% chance of decreasing the target's max HP by 5% of the damage inflicted when attacking enemies under heal reduction debuffs. This is just way too much. Yeah, each hit has a 50% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 5%. That actually could be quite good. That might be the one people are sleeping on. It depends how big a buff that 50% gets. Because if you're constantly, especially if you've got you've got on the A1, you've got a 3 hit, and you could potentially, maybe if that's raised to like 10%, and you're suddenly, well, it's never going to go to 10, but you know, you could be constantly knocking down their max HP and knocking down their turn meter with this ability here, and healing themselves as long as they're under heal reduction. And if it's 3 times, he's probably going to land them. Yeah, I'm going to have to see this one play out, guys. This might be really good. I just don't know. Seems like it's kind of like a glass cannon type thing, but with quite a bit of resilience of getting revived and attacking people, and a bunch of stuff in this magical heart. Basically, yeah, magical heart might be absolutely insane. Might be, or this champion might just be kind of meh, a bit of a dud. We'll have to see. Yeah, this one's really cool. Narma the Returned. I like this one a lot. This is like the new Draco for me, really. He is like a nuts clan boss champion. Probably going to be top tier, if not one of the best, sorry, clan boss champions of the game. The A1's kind of a pseudo vizier sort of ability. It does 40% chance of increasing the duration of 3 random debuffs in the target by 1 turn. See if that gets booked up even more. Not quite as good as vizier, obviously, but when you see the rest of the kit is much better than the rest of vizier's kit. So the second one puts down decreased attack for 3 turns, which is going to be 100% when booked. Attacks 1 enemy too, which indicates clan boss. So that's massive. 3 turns, that's constantly going to be up. Also heals allies by 50% of champions max HP, and the heal increases for each poison debuff on the target. So again, you know, you don't need unkillable suddenly. Narma might just be able to, yeah, not only, well, if you go to the A3, actually attacks 1 enemy and 100% chance of putting 3 big poisons and a 25% poison sensitivity debuff for 3 turns. So yeah, guys, the way I'm looking at this is like, this champion is pretty much, right, like having it's like having a vizier, because you've got that in the A1. You've got a Jarag, or you've got but the attack down champions like not Sylar, what's the void one called? Can't actually remember their names right now, I'm too tired. But yeah, it's basically like having one of the best decreased attacks in the game, if not the best on it. It's got a heal, so you potentially don't even need unkillable, because this is a lot of heals that are coming up here. Yeah, a ton of heals. So as long as you can keep the defense up from something, it's a ton of heals coming up here. They put on 3 poisons, all for 3 turns. Am I reading this right? Yeah, 5% poisons, all for 3 turns, which is crazy, which could increase to 4 turns with the mastery and the poison sensitivity. So it's like a Frozen Banshee, Vizier, what's his name, Tyrell, Draco, all rolled into one. This champion is nuts, absolutely nuts. Am I totally overlooking this guy? Not overlooking, am I totally overestimating this guy or girl? I don't know if it's Narma, could be a he, she, who knows. But yeah, I don't know if I'm overestimating them, but it seems totally crazy to me. This is just like the perfect clan boss champion. I mean, if you really wanted to pick anything, the A1's a little underwhelming compared to Vizier's, but if you made that as good as Vizier's, then you might as well just bin Vizier, because the rest of the kit's so much better than his. Fantastic. Mass Fearmonger, I'm not going to go through this too much, I'm just really going over the legendaries. If you want to have a look at this guy, read the post on the forums. This is just the Playrium, basically, for standard forums. You can go and read the highlights. He seems pretty cool, but I don't think he's going to get used that much. He seems, again, very situational. Now this one here, everyone knows about this one. This is Lydia the Death Siren, who, by the way, looks absolutely nothing like what she looks like in the game on her avatar. So I wonder if they've changed her skin. She looks pretty underwhelming for, like, this is going to probably be the best champion in the game. In fact, I'm pretty sure she will. I kind of wanted something a wee bit cooler, you know. Lydia the Death Siren kind of just looks like some random that you'd see at the supermarket, you know. Kind of some junky wifey. But anyway, right, let's have a quick peek over her stuff, because I've actually not done a video on her. I've talked about her a lot because I'm kicking the hell out of trying to get my Faction Wars teams done. I'm just about there, so I'm gonna have Lydia, and I'm going to basically level her up right away and do a video for you guys, because she's gonna be awesome. I honestly think she will just change the game forever. It's gonna be Lydia, and she's gonna get nerfed, 100%,
because she's nuts. Especially now that I've seen this aura. This aura is increased ally resistant the arena battles by 100. So it's an arena champion, this, and she's just going to be so dominant because arenas resistant arena's massive right now, and I think Siffi's maybe like 80, I think. So she smashes that by 20. But anyway, the A1 attacks one enemy 75% of placing a fear debuff for 1 turn, 75% of increasing the duration of any poison sensitivity debuffs by 1 turn, and the passive effect as well attacks enemy champions with this skill whenever they place a freeze, stun, fear, true fear, or debuff on an ally. The number of attacks increased according to how many debuffs are placed at one time. Yeah, it's just, if you read this, it's just this. For an A1, that's the best A1 in the game by far. Because these are all potential things that, well, these are all things that you definitely get placed on arena. The A2 is a 4-turn cooldown. If this goes down to a 3-turn cooldown, yeah, she has to get nerfed because this is crazy. It's an AoE. I'd imagine she's probably going to do some decent damage too. 75% chance, which will be 100, of placing decreased defense large, also weaken for 2 turns. So that's like your Draco sort of move right there, but just better because you've got so much other stuff here because he just places it. This is attacks all enemies as well, and then also puts a strength and an increased speed buff on all your guys. Fucking totally insane. The power creep on this is nuts, but you have to complete faction wars to get it, so I kind of get it. I think it's actually pretty cool. It gives the real end game players something to kind of focus on, and although yeah, it makes them much stronger in arena, chances are the folk that are going to be completing faction wars, they're going to be blowing people out the water that aren't anyway, you know what I mean, because they're going to have all these champions. So I don't really see a problem with this one. A3 attacks one enemy 2 times. First hit has 75% chance of placing sensitivity for 2 turns. Second has chance of placing block buffs and block cooldown skills for 2 turns. That's nuts as well. It does so much stuff right there. She can, yeah, she's going to be a beast in dungeons as well, honestly. And the passive is just insane as well. Denies enemy revive attempts. This works even if this champion is dead. Yeah, suddenly this champion just completely null and voids like all the best ones, like Duchess. Oh god, yeah. I mean, this champion changes the game 100% for anyone that has them. There's loads more stuff here you can read here. If this champion is alive when an enemy revive is denied, revives all dead allies with 50% and 50% turn meter, HP and turn meter, grants an extra turn instead if there were no dead allies. So you either get an extra turn. So that's if you're playing against a team remotely and they're playing the AI, they're obviously going to try the revive, and suddenly you're going to get so much value out of it. You can't lose. If this champion is dead when the enemy revive is denied, she is revived instead. This skill will ignore block revive. It's a 9-turn cooldown, so you can only use it once, but if you use that ability, it's done, game over, you know what I mean? That's just way too much of an advantage. So she is going to change the game. She's nuts. If you have the ability to do faction wars, 100% do it, because yeah, it's just going to be totally nuts. They're adding some kind of random stuff like little bits to the side menu to kind of help you along the way. They say also that you can purchase these avatars. I ain't purchasing no avatars. I'm not paying for a shitty like picture. I would rather have like, I don't know, some custom avatars or something, or just a better choice of avatars, but I'm not paying for that, so not a chance. I don't know if that means you can purchase them via gold bars, which I maybe would do, but I don't even like any of these. Or if you actually have to purchase with money, which is probably what Raid will be doing. I think that's look at that first comment. The first 2 avatars from Bazaar are horrible. Wondering who will buy such a flop offer. Really, I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah guys, but I'm super excited. I'm really excited about Lydia. Been excited for a while. What do you guys think? Please leave in the comments below what you think, and like and subscribe, like I said earlier, really helps me out. And yeah, hopefully see you guys soon. Take care, peace.